It's Dylan Cummings here for Rollt.Magazin, here with Jannik Blair from Bilbao, Bill Latham from ILUNION, and Rose Hollermann from Gran Canaria, and Gaz Choudhry from Albacete. We're here to preview the Copa del Rey. So I'll go to Jannik first. Jannik, obviously, Bilbao are league champions, so I bet you're coming into the Copa del Rey very confident. First of all, how you're doing, and could you give a bit of an overview of how your season's gone?
Yeah, good. Physically well, mentally probably ready for this to be done. It's been a super long season. I think especially not having gone home for Christmas, it makes you. I mean, I can't differentiate between what happened last week and what happened in October. It just seems like one big blur this whole season. A lot of basketball, a lot of good basketball. Been a good season. So the standard of the league's been high, so there's been a lot of good basketball games. So ultimately, that being the focus this year, can't complain with that. Obviously, Bilbao, we've had a good season by any standards, and hoping to carry that form forward for the King's Cup. I think we caught Canaries in the first round, which has happened almost every year since I've been here. So we beat them last year by a point, maybe with a second to go. And I remember my first year we lost by a point or two or three, maybe in overtime even. So, and then I can't remember what happened the year before that, or the year between. So, we've always had some really good games against Canaries in the first round, and hoping that be stoked if we can sneak another 1 point win in there, and then on to the semi-final. But yeah, I think we've probably got the easier side of the draw if you were to look at it like that. We've got a hard first game, and then maybe the second game, if we're able to win the first, would in theory be a little bit easier, particularly compared to the other side of the draw with a couple of big dogs over there. So pretty happy with things, all things considered.
Yeah, that's good. And again, like you say, another and maybe 1 point win or 1 point game would be very exciting to watch for sure coming up. Next, we'll go to Gaz. Gaz, first of all, how are you? And could you give an overview of your season?
Yeah, man. Sorry. All good. Season's been strange. It's been up and down for us. We had some absolutely great performances and some terrible performances and some in between. It didn't quite go as well as planned, but congratulations to Bilbao. They were the most consistent team all year. Everything's good. We're really focused on the King's Cup. We had a nice end to the regular season. Well, the season. We're in good spirits, ready to start the tournament against probably a very tough Vigo team. I'm sure they're going to be way better than they were in the season. And if you catch them on their day, they could beat anyone.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Next, we're going to go to Rose. Rose, how are you doing? And how's your season gone so far?
I'm doing good. Excited to go home. It's been a really fun season, but like Jannik said, it's been long. But the season went pretty good for us. I mean, kind of the same like Gaz. We had some really good games, and then we also paired it with some really bad ones, and then some in between. It feels like we're always right there, chomping on people's heels, but haven't quite been able to win anything yet. So I hope we can go into Copa and end up getting a easy win on that Bilbao team, and then go from there. I'm joking, by the way, Jannik.
That's great. Next, we'll go to Bill. Bill, first of all, how are you doing? And ILUNION perhaps haven't had the best of seasons as compared to previous years. So from that perspective, could you give us an overview of your season?
I'm feeling really good at the moment. Obviously, we haven't had a great season as far as results. We've been very up and down. We've had good games. We've also played very badly at times. But we're looking forward to the King's Cup, and I think every game for us is going to be difficult, moving right through, as the games will get harder as we go from the quarters, semis and finals. But the team's looking forward to it and looking forward to the challenge.
Yeah, definitely. That's great. Sticking with you, Bill, for the next question. Obviously, this season's been quite sort of an odd season compared to previous years, obviously with all the restrictions and all the testing you guys have had to go through. But speaking about that, what's it been like for you as an athlete to be able to play in sort of the top wheelchair basketball league in the world consistently throughout the season when some other leagues have had to be shut down?
It's been great, the fact that we've been able to continue to play. Testing's just become part of the weekly routine. But I think the stoppage in when we've had other teams or our team have a positive and we haven't been able to play, we've had big breaks throughout the season, which I think has affected performance, but is not an excuse as far as results. We just haven't been able to put together enough good games as the team really needs or wants or should have.
Yeah, for sure. And then, Gaz, I'm going to direct that question to you. What's it been like to be able to play consistently throughout the season? Like, what's it meant to you and your team?
To be honest, it's been surprising. You know, before the season started, we didn't really know how it would pan out. So it was a complete unknown. Like Bill said, like testing has become regular. We actually had our test today. So we've gone the entire year without a positive in the team, which is just incredible, really, from where we were when the league stopped last season. But yeah, it's just been it's been a real privilege, and I think in some ways, like Rose and Jannik touched on, it's just been a long year. It seems to have gone on forever. I think feels like it's 5 years rolled into one. But yeah, no, it's been a real privilege.
Yeah, definitely. And then Rose, we'll go to you next. So like we've touched on, like being able to play consistently throughout the year is a part of you that feels like you're being a sort of role model or inspiration for young players that perhaps haven't been able to play consistently through in various parts of the world.
So first, yeah, kind of surprising. We really thought, like, at the start of the season, especially the island, when we started, we had like 3 home games canceled because people couldn't get flights out to us. And we really thought, like, man, we're going to get kicked out of the league. Like, the league's going to go on, but we're not going to get to play this year. So grateful that we got to it. And I think, like, because of COVID, like this season, people got a lot more hype about the league this year. Like Instagram would blow up after games and people would get really excited, a little bit because of our super fan Ayaka. But that kind of hype around the sport and people like realizing that you can go to YouTube and watch games and they can actually like get some basketball. I think that ended up actually being a fueling component for us this season. And I think, there's a lot of people that are turning to the Spanish league for inspiration, for ways to learn, to watch film and to get better. And I think we all did a good job with that this year.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And then Jannik, obviously, like I said earlier, Bilbao have had a great season and you've obviously won the league. And what's it been like to sort of accomplish that accolade when most people in wheelchair basketball around the world have had their eyes on the Spanish league throughout the whole season?
Yeah, it's been important. It's super unfortunate to have played or had such a good season without been able to play in front of any crowd. Basically, I think we played in front of our home crowd, our first game against Albacete, and then since then we've only played in front of maybe 2 or 3 crowds. I think in Burgos and in Vigo away, but to have won a lot of super important games and had quite a consistent season. It's been unfortunate to not have had that live crowd experience, which as an athlete is something that really adds a lot to your career and the playing experience. But as you say, having the flip side of that is that the online viewingship has been a lot more significant than probably in other years, or at least we've paid more attention to it. So it's been nice to receive that support. And as Rose said, Ayaka has just been losing her mind. I don't think I would love it if the Australian men's wheelchair basketball coaching staff watched maybe 10% of the basketball that she watches. Man, she is an animal. I reckon she's watched more wheelchair basketball than me in my entire life in the last 6 weeks. It's impressive. So no, it's been good. It's a nice thing to, I guess, be playing basketball in the year 2021 that we can make up for the lack of, I guess, in-person viewing with the technology that we have available today.
Yeah, definitely. I think Ayak has even watched more basketball than me, and that says something. So every single highlight of every game ever is this. She makes it easy to find. So yeah, it's been really good. Anyway, so Jannik, I'll direct the next question to you. So you touched a bit on your preparations for the Copa del Rey. Obviously, you match up against Gran Canaria in the first round. Like, if you could go into more specific detail about how you guys think you're going to match up against each other, like if any specific players will match up against other players and sort of stuff like that.
No, I mean, can't give away too much, Dylan. Christ. If you want to watch the game on Saturday, I think at 11 a.m. you'll see more or less our game plan. So, I mean, the nice thing we played them twice during the year and won both. So I think we'd, I guess, try and stick to a similar game plan. Not that our game plan changes much. I don't know if that gives you a bit of a clue. Throughout the season, I think we play a pretty consistent way. And I think that maybe some of the success comes from that, in that we don't have to change a lot based on our opponent. We try and play our brand of basketball, whether you like that or not. Whatever you think about it is, everyone can have their own opinion, I guess. So, but it seems to be somewhat effective in moments. So, but yeah, as far as specifics outside of that, I think, I don't think I can give away too much more.
Fair enough. Keep your cards close to your chest. Rose, how would you like to respond to that?
I don't know. I guess I'll follow Jannik's lead and not say too much either, even though it's boring. But maybe after King's Cup we could talk about it more. I don't know. Kind of the same thing. Like the 2 times that we played Bilbao, it ended up being pretty hefty losses. Kind of got our asses kicked, but I think like we had a lot of really good moments in there and like some stretches where we played brilliant basketball against them. So trying to take those moments and make them longer and minimize our mistakes. And I mean, offensively, I don't think it's a secret how we play offensively, swing the ball around, find the open shot, knock it down. So hopefully we can get lots of open 16-footers and put them in the basket.
I will say from an outsider's perspective, it is by far the most enjoyable team to watch play wheelchair basketball in the Spanish League is Canaria. So it'll be the only game, well, one of 3 games during the year that I'm not going for them, but usually it's my favourite game to watch of the week. So I'll put that out there. This week, not so much, but generally speaking.
We got to be entertaining, though. I want it would be fun for both of us to have let's score 90.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. It's usually how we rely on doing to win games. So I wouldn't count it out. Just have Garcia have like a quadruple double or whatever. That'd be crazy. Yeah. Next I'm going to move to Gaz. Gaz, obviously you play Vigo in the first round. Vigo haven't particularly had the best season, although one of their standout players is Fabian Romo. I think he's in the lead for, I think he's the top scorer in the league at the moment, points wise. How does Albacete aim to match up player for player against Vigo?
Sorry, before I just left, Jannik, it wasn't that I was bored by a question. My dog's literally destroying my terrace. It's taking chunks off it. I don't know what that is. Vigo. You said Romo. He's had an unbelievable first year. I think, like you said, his point per games, I think he's by far and ahead the best scorer in the league. We know them pretty well. Obviously, Lewis, who's a national teammate for GB, plays there. Sam Mack as well. We've played them a lot over the past few years in cups, and in I think we played them in the first game or the second game of King's Cup last year as well. But yeah, matching up wise, they've got their 2 high pointers. They're playing with a big 3. They've got a strong midpoint. I mean, they're very, very similar to us in terms of the classification. So I think we're just going to try and play our game, rely on those big guys inside, and if we get the open shots, knock them down, and hopefully it's enough to win the game.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And like you say, I think this weekend overall there's going to be some cracking games, amazing games to look forward to. Bill, we'll go to you next. I think arguably alongside Bilbao and Gran Canaria, I think your quarterfinal is the one to watch going up against Madiba. Obviously, you had a comfortable win against them in Madrid, and then you lost them by a point when you were at Badajoz. So what are your thoughts going into that game?
Well, we played them really close together, and like you said, we beat them easily in one game, and then we didn't turn up in the second, and they beat us by 1. But I mean, they're a quick team. They're playing some good basketball. They're very good in transition. So I just think we need to be ready to go. But it could be a very, very tough game right from the start.
Yeah, definitely one to look forward to for sure. All right, guys. So that brings me on to my final question for you guys. Gaz, I'll go back to you. What would it mean to you and your team to win the Copa del Rey?
To win the Copa del Rey would validate this season for us. We had big hopes this season. I mean, we're fairly, we had a few changes in the team, and we had really high hopes. We've lost probably the most amount of close games of anyone this year, which is slightly uncharacteristic of us, but it shows we're right there. So I think for us, we're looking to kind of validate this season with a win. It's the one thing that I've never won in Spain either. Fortunate enough to win the league once, but never won the Copa del Rey. So it'd be a huge accomplishment. And again, it's at home. So I know it would mean the world to our fans and the people that support us. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. And then, Bill, I'll go back to you. Obviously, you've won many Copa del Reys before, but what would it mean to you to win it this season, especially with everything that's going on in the world?
ILUNION has won many King's Cups, and I mean, we want to go there and win it. And really, this year is more important than anything, as we haven't won anything, and it's very uncharacteristic of this team to not go through the season and not win something. So it would mean a lot to the club, to me personally, and also I think to the fans. And we're going to go there and do everything we can.
That's great to hear. Rose, we'll go to you next. Obviously, Canarias, they've improved year upon year upon year. And like Jannik said, they're probably the most exciting team to watch in the league. So what would it mean for you and your team to win the Copa del Rey this season?
Obviously, it'd mean a lot. I think the way to describe our season is we worked extremely hard. We were constantly in the gym, lifting and shooting and nutrition and just trying to get better all the time in every situation that we could. So just seeing everyone working so hard this season and wanting to get so much better, I think it would, give us reward to all the hard work we put in. And it's also cool. I think, and a lot of the other teams in the running have a lot of really big names that have been over here for a really long time. And we're a bunch of rookies or, just a bunch of mismatched players thrown together that are ending up playing really good basketball. And a lot of that is because we just get along so well and we want to work for each other. And especially this year, we were friends last year and we became a family this year where just going through COVID and living together throughout all of that, we really love each other and we want to win it for one another.
Yeah, definitely. And I think living on an island and I think that sort of brings the team chemistry closer together, because you're all sort of together near enough all the time. Like you say, you live together and all that sort of stuff.
And just like the Canarians, like I don't think any team has like these sweet old guys that are just like at practice hyping everyone up so much and like just like lovely human beings. I think we got that. We got that locked down.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so next we're going to go to Jannik. Jannik, I think it's fair to say that Bilbao are the favourites to win the Copa del Rey. So what would it mean to you and your club to win the Copa del Rey this season?
First, I just want to say you just painted an amazing picture, Rose, of that experience. I just want to make myself part of that. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like every club, it's an objective of ours. And then being a more competitive club or having had a more competitive year, it's probably more of a realistic objective. And but as I say, I think that probably any one of six of the teams could win it, in my opinion. So I don't think that we're necessarily the favourites by any stretch. I think that our first game we could go 50-50, could go either way. I don't think that we're necessarily a shoe-in. And then on the other side of the draw, maybe the only advantage would be that if we are able to make to the final, we might be a little bit more rested than some of the boys in the other side of the draw. But yeah, I mean, I just say if the club were able to win the league and the King's Cup in 1 year, two things that we had never done previously. Now we've been able to achieve one of them. If we could achieve the other in the same year, would be outstanding. I think Don Chem would probably have a heart attack, which would be sad. But obviously, if he has to go, that's the one way you'd want it to be. No, fuck, you might have to cut that out, Dylan. But yeah, no. So it's obviously a massive goal, and then hopefully we can do that.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Like we say, it should be an awesome weekend. All right, guys. So on that note, I'd just like to say thank you very much for doing this. I really appreciate it, and good luck this weekend to everyone.
Thanks, Dylan. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Cheers.